So I'm sitting here with Tom Kallas. He's an all-time world record holder in the 165 class for the squat. So we're going to go ahead and go through some questions with him today, just so you guys can go ahead and get to know him a little bit better, and also kind of pick his brain as to some kind of tips, advice that might help you with your own general training, both in the squat and just in everything overall. So the first question that we're going to go ahead and go with Tom, it's what's your world record currently set at, and what do your current numbers look like overall?
The world record, which I set back in June of 2014, it was 677 at 165, so it was the next kilo up from the, I don't know who had it, some Russian or something. Right now, I'm a little heavier. I might try to go 165 one last time. I'm still playing with my diet and seeing where I could be. But numbers-wise, my bench is a little up. It's right around 350, battling a little shoulder issues. When you squat low bar, like I do, it really wrenches on your shoulders, so it's hard. It's a lot harder for me to bench because I get a lot of pain, but that's an excuse, whatever. Squat, an hour ago, just hit 725. Body weight's probably about 190. So again, I can play in 181s, or like I said, if I cut down to 165 one more time. Deadlift, I've been doing a lot of deficit on beltless, something that Eric Lilliebridge does. Okay. So I've been doing that, and a week ago I hit 565 with no belt off a 3-inch. So numbers are up, strength is up. So
what's the best deadlift you've hit so far?
Be 600 at Mark Bell's meet.
Okay.
So off the floor belt.
All right, perfect. Now let's go ahead and kind of just backtrack a little bit and find out a little bit about how you got into powerlifting, and when you first came in, did you think that it was going to go ahead and take you as far as it has today?
Absolutely not. I used to do bodybuilding when I was 16 through 18, so that's kind of my background. And then my buddy John Jursic, we trained at Fitworks, and one day he just said, "Hey, you're a pretty good squatter, your bench is all right, and you can pull. Let's do a meet." So the first meet I did was down in April, and when I was 18, I think that was 2011. And I didn't know a thing to do. I just kind of showed up. We did a little kind of short meet prep, and I just kind of walked in and did my first meet.
And how'd that go for you?
Pretty good. I ended up getting first place. I think I squatted 468. I think I weighed 153 that day. That was my opener. I pulled something in my hamstring or something weird with the wraps. It was so tight that I wasn't used to it. So it kind of threw me off a little bit. I don't remember what I benched, probably somewhere in the high 2s, and then I pulled 501 sumo that day.
Okay.
So then my hamstring was killing me.
And you used to pull sumo, but now you pull conventional.
Yeah, right? I was sumo until about 18 months ago, roughly. And then I just could never get that positioning right like you do. I can't get that positioning back. I'd be forward all the time. So I just switched to conventional, and I find it's a lot more comfortable.
It's a lot more comfortable for you. So, you kind of told us a little bit about how you used to do bodybuilding, you used to compete in it, and kind of why you did the switch. Do you feel like bodybuilding has benefited your powerlifting endeavors?
Absolutely. It just gave me a base, and it taught me how to diet. So that's why it's easier for me to do other weight classes, because I know my body and I know what to eat and the timing of everything, so I can cut weight easier, manipulate my carbs better, because like I said, I have a bodybuilding background. And then it helps also with accessories. I'm big on accessories. It's something that it's been instilled in me since I was probably 13, since I started training. And then when I started training with Derek Kendall, we really started hitting accessories more because we both used to be bodybuilders. So I think that helps develop a stronger muscle, because it's great to hit a big squat, but then afterwards you need to do the maintenance. So you're not going to tear anything, and you're building the muscle up with more reps instead of just doing singles and doubles on the heavier weights. Because what Matt Manuth taught me is a bigger muscle is a stronger muscle.
Yes.
So I like to bang on a lot of reps, a lot of different stuff with my accessory work after my main movements.
Yes, definitely. Now, were you always a good squatter, or is this something you had to develop over time?
Not to try to sound cocky, but I've been a pretty good squatter ever since I lifted. That's what I always was pushed when I was in high school, was the squat is the king of all exercises. So like in high school, when I remember on my 17th birthday, I probably weighed 145 to 150, and we had some shitty little Ace bandage knee wraps. Like they were terrible, and I squatted 500 that day. Like I said, I was young and I was pretty light. I just kind of been a natural pretty good squatter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, I went ahead and went on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Reddit, and kind of put out, you know, the fact that I'm going to go ahead and interview Tom today, and some people got back to us with some questions, so we're going to go ahead and kind of touch on those right now. So Mike Chen asks, what's your training look like in terms of frequency, volume, intensity, and assistance work?
It depends. When I'm in meet prep mode, especially like the last probably 4 to 6 weeks, because I only have a couple heavy lifts left, I'll be banging a higher percentages, and I'll probably just be doing singles on all my lifts. Accessories, I'll back off a tiny bit, especially on legs. I kind of feel like it's unnecessary about a month out to really kill them. Chest and back, I feel like they cover a lot quicker, so I'll still hit accessories pretty hard. Off season, I really don't have an off season, but I'll ditch the wraps, and I'll probably usually keep the belt. Do a lot of more reps, usually at least 8 reps every set, and accessories would just pretty much go retarded. We'll do like sets of 75 in the leg press, sets of 50 on leg curls, supersetted with extensions, and we just really, like I said when I train with Derek, when I say we really just kill it. A lot of reps, especially in the off season, and even the beginning of my training cycles for a meet. Just kill accessories.
And when he's saying that he does 75 reps, 50 reps, he's not joking either. I've trained with him in the past before, and I know firsthand kind of his assistance work. It's very, very intense. And if you're not used to it, like me, you'll end up not being able to walk or just outright laying on the floor like I did. So kind of the next question we have here is Joe Keith asks, how much emphasis do you put on core work?
0. I don't remember the last time I did any kind of even rope crunch, any crunch. It's probably something I should get back into. Probably would make me tighter and a better lifter all around, but after I squat or pull or bench and do accessories, I don't mess with abs at all. Because you know, squatting upwards 6, 7s, you have to have a pretty strong core to do it. I'd say my core is pretty strong, but it absolutely could be stronger. But I don't do any core work besides squatting.
And I'm on the same boat with him on that one. I really don't do very much ab work, if any at all. We have a question here from Ali Powerlifter. Does squatting high bar make a difference versus low bar?
Absolutely. I've only tried high bar squatting once because it's real hard for me to get my hands behind my back as it is. So when I go high bar, I have to be like here, and it's super hard for me to get in position. And high bar, you really don't have as much balance as you do low bar. You notice with Eric. Eric switched his squat about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He was high bar and he went to low bar. High bar best, I think he squatted 90 something in the animal cage, 906, and then now he's low bar and he's hit 1,026 in the gym. I've predominantly been only a low bar lifter or squatter. That's just how I've always squatted. Like I said, I tried high bar once about 2 weeks ago with my pause squats, and it just makes it a lot harder. So yeah, I don't like it. I
agree. It's definitely a lot harder. Let's see here. We have another question from Throwaway120893. Is it okay to go ahead and let your knees cave in at the bottom of a squat if it makes you stronger? And how wide is too wide of a stance for a squat?
I think Dan Green, when he squats, his knees come in a little bit at the bottom and then he forces out. And I think our training partner, Jason Kallas, says that's okay to a point.
Yes.
But I like to keep them out as much as I can. If anything, I screw my feet down and in when I squat, so I can really push out, especially when I get to the bottom of the hole. And then wide stance, I used to be wide about here.
JP wants you.
I got you. I'll be out in a minute. And then I moved it in. It just put too much emphasis, strain on my groin, and it just hurt. Wide stance squatting is not really for raw lifters. You'll mainly see it in gear lifting. I like to just go up a little bit outside my shoulders, and I point my toes out. Like I said, I screw my feet in, so my knees go out all the time, and I feel like it really helps. Okay. Too wide is not good for raw lifting.
All right, so the next question we have is from John Hack, who asks, any squat cues, and do you use any product in your beard?
I don't know as far as what he means exactly by squat cues. I'm just going to kind of go through my setup.
Okay.
Kind of take a second after my buddy wraps my knees. Get my belt right. I kind of kick my belt up a tiny bit. Learned that from Eric. Gives you kind of something to push up and against. Kind of shoots you up in a way. Then then I kind of just set my hands, make sure they're even, get under the bar, line me up, and then I always, like I said, I always kind of screw my feet, make sure my knees are going to be going out as soon as I descend, and really try to pull that bar as much as you can into your back, and then put your elbows forward. And then I kind of always just kind of pick a spot and try to look up the entire time. Halfway through my squat, I'll speed it up so I get the most out of my reps, hit the reps, and then hope everything takes over. Because usually at that point, it's if you're tight enough, you hit your, like I hit my reps pretty hard. If you're tight enough, you're going to shoot straight up and you'll be fine. So that's about my cues. And then his beard question, I don't use any product in my beard. It just is how it is. I let it go free. Yeah, that's my Greek beard, man. Just let it go.
Next question. Lou Torres asks, any top mistakes in training and kind of over the years as you've developed, what kind of things have you changed your views on?
Top mistakes is probably, I used to probably do more reps up until a meet. And now at the Lilliebridge program, I'm doing usually probably, my last 2 heavy lifts are usually singles, if not my last 3. And seniors kind of always, I always kind of do want to do more reps, the bodybuilding background, and he'll always back me down and just go, no, just take it for a single, get the confidence, and then next time you squat, go heavier, single. Mistakes, maybe not competing enough. Like the more times you compete, especially when you're starting out, it's just better. You're going to be more comfortable, and just you being more comfortable is going to lead to PRs because you're more comfortable in front of people, and it's not you in a mirror; it's you just looking out at people. That's probably when you're younger, compete as much as you can. Me, I kind of back off. I'll probably compete 3 to 4 times a year, just with work and stuff. It's hard for me to get off all the time to compete. So that's probably about it.
Okay. Anything you've changed your views on, or? Everything's kind of just stayed the same over the past few years?
I really, at first, I was kind of against geared lifting. I mean, I'll probably never do it. But some of the gear guys in here are really, it's pretty impressive. Tony's come a long way. Tony Tirico's come a long way.
Tony's very good.
With gear lifting. His squats used to be terrible. They were, dude, sorry. And now he's actually sinking them, and it's pretty good. And Matt Manuth is a
monster.
The most respected guy I respect in geared lifting. He's just an animal. He looks great, and everything's to depth. His benches are paused, and his bench is ridiculous. So after seeing him compete, dude, I was kind of changed my view on geared lifting a little bit because I have utmost respect for Manuth.
He's very technically sound. I think the last meet he did an 800 plus bench, if I'm not mistaken.
He weighed
220, something like that.
He's got the world record in 220 and 242 class for total, and I don't know about individual lifts. I'm guessing the bench in both those.
Yeah, and it was just a very, very nice, technical, smooth. Everything was perfect with that. Let's see here. Joe Biundo asks, anything you would do different in your powerlifting career, and now any sort of mistakes that you find with new lifters?
Anything I'd change? What was the first part?
Anything you'd do different in your powerlifting career?
Not really, man. I honestly couldn't ask for a better team to be on. Team Lilliebridge with my coach senior. Great group of guys and girls, strong on both sides. Not much I could change. Sometimes I wish I didn't do bodybuilding because I think I took away from my strength for a couple years. And it's kind of like when you're dieting down. When I was doing it, I was losing strength and then trying to regain it and then diet down. So it was kind of tougher. But like I said before, it's taught me a lot about dieting and training. So I really have no regrets at this point.
And what kind of mistakes do you see in a lot of new lifters nowadays?
You see a lot of people, if they're using wraps, they have no clue how to wrap their knees. There's gaps. Their numbers that they pick are usually too heavy when they open. You need to find a, and when you're on a program, like especially for a meet program, you need to stick with it. It's not just, I had a shitty day today, I need to change everything. No, we all have shitty days. There's days I can't squat. Almost every day I can't bench. You just got to find a program and just keep sticking with it. Just because you have one bad day, one bad week, one bad month doesn't mean it's a program. There's a lot of things, nutrition, sleep, that go into how your lifts are being performed and how you're performing on the method that you're using. Like I said, I'm guessing we both use Lilliebridge method. It makes sense. Not just because we're on the team. If it didn't work for me, I would maybe do the cube, maybe do something else, 5-3-1, something. But it has been shown to work with any type of bodyweight lifter, any gear, not gear. First time meet, 100th meet, it works. That's
Male, female?
Male, female, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just, it's how it is. It works.
Ryan Gray asks, who do you look up to?
Of course, you gotta look up to Lilliebridge's. Senior is injury after injury, and he's always back in the platform. Junior's the same way, injured back in the platform. He's a nut, dude. Diving down all the time. Eric's a freak. I mean, you gotta look up to Eric. I mean, he's the man. He's the best. He's the best, dude. Guys like Derek Kendall, he's a pretty close training partner of mine. When he came in, he kind of switched gears for everybody, made you train a little harder, brought my accessories to a different level. He's pushed me a lot harder. We'll text constantly throughout the weeks before we have a heavy squat or something, telling each other what we both suck, and if we don't do it, we're going to kill ourselves. That's just kind of our thing, and his thing that he's brought to the team. So he's a guy that I really look up to, and he's a good training partner.
Definitely. Now, JP Carroll from the team asks, is Jim Wendler your dad, and why do they call you the California Lady Killer?
The Jim Wendler's an inside joke between me and him, because I wear a lot of cargo shorts in the summer with like tank tops or stuff like that, and I have a beard, so he says I'm a mini Jim Wendler.
Okay.
And then the California Lady Killer is out when me and JP room together out in for Mark Bell's meet, super training backyard meet, whatever. And I ended up being able to take a girl out to dinner on Mark Bell's tab, so I didn't pay for it either. And then we kind of hung out and had drinks, so ever since then he calls me the California Lady Killer. That's all I'm going to say about that one.
Badass. That's a good nickname. Katrina Diaz asks, how do you balance volume and peaking leading up to a meet?
Like I said before, with squats, we'll push the singles, especially 4 to 6 weeks out. Volume towards the beginning of the training cycle, because I usually do 10-week training cycles, so the first month I'll keep my volume up on accessories, but the main movements, triple, maybe 4 on bench, squat, or deadlift. Usually 3s, 2s, and then like I said, single, single, single. Volume as far as accessories, it's pretty intense until, like I said, about 4 weeks out. Then I kind of back everything down, making sure my body's recovered, because my last heavy lifts are going to be in that month leading up to the meet. So I don't want to miss a squat because my shoulders are sore because I did a bunch of shoulder accessories. That's stupid. I need to make sure I'm 100% fresh when I step into the gym, because powerlifting is 1 rep. You know what I mean? So you just got to make sure you're fresh, and that's why I back off on accessories about the last month.
Definitely. Brendan Schultz asks, how does a weight cut look for you?
A lot of people like to do all of it in one day. It depends what my body weight was. Last time I cut to 165, I was dieting probably last month of my prep. My last heavy squat, I weighed about 180, and that's where I'd stay. The day before weigh-ins, I usually have like 1 or 2 small meals, maybe a chicken breast and some yogurt. No water. I'll water load that week. That Thursday, if I'm competing a Saturday, I'm obviously weighing a Friday morning. So that Thursday, 2 small meals, and then usually me and Ernie Jr. are sitting in a sauna for about 5-6 hours. Sounds worse than it is. We do like intervals, different stuff, wiping the sweat off, getting back in. Last cut was pretty basic. I was about 190, cut to 181, just saunted it off, real simple. Just depends what weight class I'm going, makes it harder. But yeah, no eating the day before, really, no water and sauna. So.
Okay. San Kim asks, are you planning on going ahead and just staying at 181 then?
Like I said before, I think I have 1 more 165 meat in me. Probably diet back down to around 180 and try to drop 15 pounds in that one day. And then I don't think I'll be able to go back. I'll probably stay at 181 for a while, but there's some big guys like John Hack. He's 181er. He's extremely strong bencher, extremely strong deadlifter. His squat is really good because he doesn't use reps. He's still in the 6s. Very strong guy.
Freak.
So I'm not ready to go against him, honestly. He's the man at 181 right now, I think. So I'll play with 165 hopefully in a couple months when I compete again, and then I'll move up to the 181s and start chipping away.
What's Alpha Ray 22 asks, what's your squat without knee wraps?
The most I've ever done was 600, and I didn't train for it. I wasn't peak for it. I was going to go light that day, and Derek was making fun of me, giving me a lot of shit. So he's like, I bet he just gave me shit, said I couldn't do 600 to save my life. Grinded it out. It's just a whole different technique of squatting because I hit my reps so hard to try to get the most I can out of them. And there you got to slow everything down because if you hit like that, that's when you're about to tear something.
Yeah.
So you got to slow everything down into the hole. I've never done a training cycle without meets, like a full 10 weeks wrapless. Because, not that I'm a little scared, but you get a lot more comfortability, at least I do, out of the wraps. It's a little safer. I'm more about safety. I want to be in this game a while. And I got to work. I do outside work all day, so I can't be blowing my knee out just because I want to prove a point. But like I said, I squatted 600. That was last year without him, and I was weighing like 175. So I think the world record is 165 and 606. Something maybe I could try to go for, but honestly, I don't really care to do it. I don't care to push it that hard unless Derek makes fun of me and tells me I can't do it. But maybe if I peaked, I could probably be mid-sixes at 181, but it's just not something I'm really interested in doing.
Okay.
At this point, at least.
Jeremy Villarreal asks, what are your squat goals for 181?
When I finally stopped doing 165, like I said, I think I got one more in me. I think I'd be pretty close to the 181 world record next time I compete. I think it's 738 right now. It's been upped here and there in this past, probably about last 6 months. It's been up from like 711 up to 738. I'd really like to be able to squat mid to high sevens at 181, and who knows from there. But squat would be main thing at 181. Bench, deadlifts, they'll come as they come. But I'm predominantly just a squatter. So working on the other two, but yeah, I can be able to. Last time I peaked, I'd like to be peaking right around 750 at 181. Pretty solid. And
I think that's definitely possible. Just looking at some of his training from today, it's well within range. I mean, if anything, within a few months. Now we're gonna go ahead and kind of wrap up with a few closing questions. What are your goals overall for 2015?
Like I said, 165 one more time. Try to get a nice total in there, and then up my own squat record as well. I'd really like to do that. Kind of push that out of reach as far as I can before I move to 181. And then honestly, after this, probably May, I'm going to compete. After that, I'll go 181 for the rest of the year. And like I said, try to be in the upper sevens towards the end of the year with my squat. Hopefully be in the 1700s somewhere in my total. That's probably my main goals. Get the bench out maybe 20, 30 pounds, and then try to pull low to mid sixes by the end of the year.
Okay.
So nice little total.
Where do you see the future of the sport going and just general raw powerlifting in general?
I think the sport's growing now more than it ever has, especially with BSN picking up the Lilliebridges. Once they start really pushing their name more, I think people are going to figure out what powerlifting is, especially raw powerlifting. Seeing someone go, 1,200 pounds in gear and then someone else going 800 pounds in raw, you don't think it's that impressive. And then you have Ernie Jr. squatting 198, squatting 4 times body weight with just wraps and a belt. People get confused. I think raw powerlifting is the way to go. Obviously, I'm a raw lifter.
Yeah.
But I think it's being pushed more and more, and it'll be bigger. I don't know how big. I think you'd be big, somewhat like CrossFit's big. When you see people from CrossFit, everybody hates on it, but at least people are doing something with lifting. And you see them, some of them love to squat and deadlift, and they'll come to the powerlifting side and try that out. So I think with CrossFitters, like in Mark Bell's meet, they had a lot of CrossFitters come and try powerlifting. So with that, I think the sport is going to grow as a whole. Yeah,
definitely. And I think also as raw powerlifting becomes more popular, I think it opens up the doors for a lot more people versus when it was predominantly just gear. And people maybe just didn't understand it completely. Now the last question that we have here today is any closing advice or kind of just general inspiration for the next generation of powerlifters?
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta be hungry. You're one of the most up-and-coming lifters, and you're probably the hungriest guy on the team right now.
Thank you.
You just really want it. Probably want it more than I do, as far as your numbers. You just got a lot of hunger and a lot of fight. So that's what you really need. You need if you want this as a hobby, or something you kind of want to do, kind of try it, sure, get into it. If you really want to be one of the best, I mean, you got to be fucking hungry. Eric Lilliebridge didn't get to #1 in the world at 275 and 308 by being, powerlifting is what he does on the weekends. Ernie Jr. Ernie Jr.'s life is powerlifting. Senior's life is powerlifting. He's in here all the time, training a lot of different people, and look what he's produced. The method that he came out with, the methods that he has in the gym, just talking to him in general, he is powerlifting, you know.
Yeah.
So if something that younger generation wants to do, you just gotta be hungry and you gotta want it.
Yeah, and I think going forward, there's some kind of a discussion about, you know, whether we're in the golden age of powerlifting, and I think we're starting to reach that point, and Coach is really pioneering that and kind of paving the way for that. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for the next generation of lifters coming up in the sport. Well, I really want to thank you for going ahead and sitting down with me and just kind of talking to the audience and getting them to get to know you a little bit more and kind of pick your brain. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. I'm going to say a shout out to my sponsors, Click Nutrition, all my supplement needs, and then Mark Bell's Slingshot, and then C&K for Caffeine and Kilos for giving us some free gear. So thank all of you. Go check out their stuff. Go check out their sites and buy their shit. All right.
And I'm also going to go ahead and put down his Instagram, so you guys can go ahead and follow him on Instagram. Also, his YouTube channel will be linked down below. And if you like this content and you want to go ahead and see a little bit more, you can always go ahead and subscribe to the channel, both mine and his. I do plan to go ahead and do kind of a series of interviews and just to highlight Team Lilliebridge as a whole, and maybe some of the lifters that you don't already know right now that don't necessarily get the same spotlight out there. So there's a lot more to come, and you guys will be getting more of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep.